Hey guys, Dan Albano here, OCVarsity, with I think a very important update on high school sports and the newly released guidelines that just came out yesterday on February 19th from the California Department of Public Health, announced by Governor Newsom. So I know these guidelines continue to evolve and get updated and changed, and it's a lot to keep track of on top of everything else going on during the pandemic. So the so that's why I thought it'd be good to hit on a couple highlights and maybe shed some light and pass on some information, because it is a lot. And I can only imagine it's a lot for me to keep up with. And I would only imagine, everybody else is in the same situation. So let's go right to it. So the big update yesterday from the state was the tier system is still in place, but they made some pretty big adjustments to the tier system when it comes to high contact outdoor sports. Those are the sports that got some relief yesterday. Outdoor high contact sports. So the sports that we're talking about are sports like football, which is a season one fall sport, as we all know. And it's also water polo, soccer, and lacrosse. So those are all been classified as that can happen in the orange tier. And of course, Orange County, most of the state is in the purple tier. And maybe in a couple of weeks, Orange County will be moving into the red tier. And then, even better than that is the orange tier. Well, this is where these sports were and then season one sports like football and water polo, they were pretty much thinking that there's no way we're going to play this fall, which is quickly running out of the season, right? That's, for water polo, perhaps it's the deadline for the season is mid-March. And for football, it's mid-April. And so these sports thought there's no way we're going to be able to play in season one because we're in orange, and that's going to be really hard to reach that kind of health conditions. Well, yesterday the state modified those and made it easier for these sports in season one and of course in season two, where soccer and lacrosse reside. So these high contact outdoor sports can be played in the red or the purple tier if there's some certain conditions that are met. And the conditions are that there's got to be an adjusted case rate for COVID cases of 14 per 100,000 people. And there's got to be a weekly testing program for participants and coaches. And of course, there's all the other stuff about wearing masks that, everybody knows about that by now. So those were the big adjustments made, and they're very impactful for season one sports, such as football and water polo. So another big confusion is, and question marks has come up, is so where's Orange County now? Everybody sees that these COVID numbers, the stats, they come out on Tuesdays. And the state, in announcing its adjustments yesterday, put out that Orange County was currently at 16 cases per 100,000. You can't find that really on a website, but that was some state provided data that came out with the announcement. And we'll see where the numbers fall on this coming Tuesday. And as everyone has been seeing, the numbers have been dropping pretty significantly. On specifically, on case rates, the last couple of weeks they've been dropping by about 10. We're at 20, and point in some change now, or at least past Tuesday, I should say. We're 16 now, but the previous week we were like at 29, I believe it was. So they're coming down. And so what this means is that, high school football is going to start gearing up, and high school water polo is going to be gearing up to have competition. They're going to join the fray, the competition fray that's going on right now in the purple tier with cross country. Most Orange County cross country teams and leagues are competing in cross country. We're going to have some fall. Fall's going to get busy here pretty soon. And you can look for those. So all this could happen as early as this competition, this new concessions made for water polo football in season one. It could happen as soon as February 26th. So it's about a week away. So it wasn't all good news, though, yesterday for, the high school athletes looking to get back on the competition, court, field, pool, ASAP. As they've, it's been a very long pandemic, as and school sports have been shut down for coming up on 1 year. So the news wasn't all that good. So for indoor volleyball, for example, Indoor volleyball had been in the orange, and indoor volleyball actually got harder to play, which it moved up to the yellow tier. It's an indoor, listed as a moderate contact sport. It got moved up to the yellow tier, which is the best health conditions you can be. Now, if you play volleyball outdoors, um, it can be played in the red tier. So that's so indoor volleyball, the traditional, and girls have volleyball in season one, and boys have volleyball indoors in season two. And boys volleyball is a sport to watch because remember, they were canceled last spring, during that season, and they are in danger. It seems, being the only sport and be the first sport to be canceled 2 years in a row. So now, but in their, they have company in that, very difficult yellow tier to reach. Basketball is in that sport, is in that tier. So is wrestling. So, and I keep talking to coaches about outdoor options, and I've talked to a couple of basketball coaches, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of interest, and there's concerns about injury with outdoor basketball. But we'll see where that movement goes. I talk to coaches about grass volleyball. I hear a little bit, but not too much. And then and then wrestling. I've heard stories about, or not seen. I've seen stories about wrestling, college wrestling being held outdoors. They move the mats out to the stadium, the football stadium, and there they are wrestling outdoors. We'll see what kind of adjustments happen. The state says that they are going to continue to look at this, but there are some indoor sports that weren't happy with where things stand, and of course, indoor volleyball getting moved up to the the most restrictive yellow tier. So and then if and the reason, one of the big reasons my update's coming tonight, the day after, is that yesterday was such a busy day. Did you catch the lawsuit, the temporary restraining order that was issued by a San Diego judge yesterday, that essentially defeated the guidelines from the state, and granted high school athletes in San Diego only at this point, they are under this temporary restraining order. They can compete as long as they follow the same rules of COVID protocol that the colleges and pro teams do. So that was the basis of their lawsuit, is that they felt like the high school athletes were being treated unfairly because the colleges and professional teams in San Diego were able to play their sports while the high school kids were not. And they actually won that. These two high school football players and their attorney, they won that temporary restraining order last night. So it was an amazingly dramatic day. If you're into these kind of developments, I know all sports fans, in high school sports are looking for different kinds of drama rather than announcements about guidelines and court cases. But that's the news of the day. And don't discount the lawsuit, because we'll see. The state has issued a statement that they're considering their options. So maybe there's an appeal. The attorney says he's going to file similar lawsuits on Monday all across the state. Does that mean we're going to have one in Orange County? What impact will these have? There's still some more to find out about these lawsuits, and we'll see where this story evolves. So the Let Them Play group says that they're going to continue to advocate, and we'll see what happens with football and water polo. It looks like there's going to be short seasons. We're talking about maybe 5 or less football games and a couple of weeks of water polo. It'll be short and sweet, but it will be better than nothing. And I know from looking online that the football teams, they're saying they're back. Things are starting to happen with team meetings, scheduling. And but will everybody be back in Orange County? That will be a question. Water polo coaches are excited, boys and girls water polo. So that's big for for both genders there. So a lot of good news. Obviously, still some concerns. Basketball coaches weren't happy yesterday, right? Volleyball coaches weren't happy yesterday. Indoor sports still got some progression. Numbers going down and getting better in many areas around the state. And vaccines efforts are increasing somewhat, or there's supply issues, but more testing, more vaccination sites are popping up, and there's some progression on that front. So that's an important update. What a day it was yesterday, February 19th. Thanks for following us on OC Varsity. Thanks for following our coverage, and stay safe.